Ladies and gentlemen, what is up and welcome to the early abilities breakdown for the character next month that I am personally the most excited for, and that is Blade. This character looks amazing. Like, I love the fast-paced champions that have a ton of utility and that have bleed mechanics generally, and Blade is literally, he looks like my dream character on paper. Like, I'm so excited for him. But again, one of the things with the early data mined abilities is we don't have exact values in terms of, you know, how effective certain stuff is going to be, and a lot of, you know, what is going to make Blade good depends on, like, how high certain values are. So that's something to keep in mind, that this character might end up sucking, but he has potential to be absolutely crazy. And we're going to talk about some of the stuff that he can do. But before we do that, just want to give another shout out to your boy JJW from the unofficial MCOC podcast for kind of getting all this information together, spending hours yesterday kind of data mining it and then reformatting it into a kind of a very nice document for everyone to pick apart and read through. So massive shout out to JJW. Link to both this document and the unofficial MCOC podcast Discord will be in the description of this video if you want to check it out. But anyway, let's have a bit of a jump into Blade's mechanics. So the first thing that he has, which is very expanded by the synergies, is an ability called Danger Sense. So when against dimensional beings, Danger Sense activates, so instantly, and grants Blade a certain amount of additional attack rating, while also reducing the opponent's ability accuracy by a certain percent, which again, we don't know those values yet. So you read this and you're like, dimensional beings, so that doesn't really apply to many like Dormammu, Mephisto, but then you have a look down at the synergies, and you can expand it with Mephisto or Dormammu to expand to include all Mystic champions, so that's as well magics as well. So really interesting one there, and also an additional synergy with Ghost Rider, which expands it yet again to include all villain champions. So, you know, for various matchups and various quests, this could be absolutely amazing. Because I think there's also some, oh yes, there's this one with Spider-Man Stark Enhanced as well, that increases the potency for the Danger Sense bonus, so increases the amount of attack you get and also increases the ability accuracy reduction. So yeah, that could be very powerful when paired with the right team synergy. So I'm interested to kind of see how like team building around Blade is going to work, because, you know, all the champions featured below, they're really good champions. You got Mephisto, you got Spider-Man Stark Enhanced, and you got Ghost Rider, all look to be insane champions. So yeah, I like, you know, build some good team synergies. You're not really carrying much dead weight there with the champions, so some really cool stuff there. Now the next one is an auto block on an intercept. So this is, Blade has a certain percent chance to auto block any attacks made when dashing towards the opponent, and this can trigger the parry mastery. So essentially, you don't want to try and intercept Blade, or you're probably going to get auto blocked and wrecked. In a PvP scenario, that's going to be a parry. In a PvE scenario, that's just going to be a block. So it's not too detrimental in a PvE scenario. But yeah, interesting one to bear in mind, and also increases the chance to auto block if Danger Sense is active. So I'm interested to see when, you know, you've got Danger Sense active in the right matchup, if that actually goes up to 100% chance, because that's like an auto win on all the intercepts, and that's kind of something that makes Rhino a really fun character to occasionally play. So yeah, I'm interested to kind of see the potency of that, but definitely a lot of potential there. And, you know, there are various ways that you can play around that just by kind of blocking or regularly parrying when you are fighting Blade. So I don't think that's too much BS to deal with. Then we also have immunity. So it doesn't exactly explain how this works, but essentially the more power Blade has, I think the higher percent chance he has to shrug off debuffs, and I think maybe he has a percent chance to shrug off a debuff every second, and that percentage goes up based on the amount of power that he has. So interesting there. And also for every stack of bleed on the opponent, he generates a percentage of a bar of power every second, and it looks like the only ways to get bleed on Blade are via his special attacks. So the The special attack 1 inflicts bleed, dealing a certain amount of damage over a certain amount of seconds. The special 2, however, inflicts bleed on critical hits, dealing damage over time, and for each bleed inflicted, Blade instantly generates a percentage bar of power. So the special 2 seems very, very powerful for generating power, because you're going to have an additional power gain via, you know, landing critical hits, and also additional power gain for every stack of bleed on the opponent. So I really, really like that. Combined with the fact that Blade is a Mystic champion in Mystic Dispersion matchups where you have buffs, I see some insanity going off in terms of his damage output. I think there's a lot that could happen with this this champion's damage. And then finally we have the special 3, which is just inflicts a certain amount of stacks of bleed. Again, it's really hard to tell the effectiveness of these bleeds without any numerical values, but special attack 3 doesn't seem all that great so far. The special attack 2 seems where the hype is probably at. But then we have the signature ability of Blade, which is Vampiric Immortality. So it allows Blade to consume his own power to recover from injuries at an amazing rate. So when below a certain amount of health, Blade's healing factor allows him to recover health for the cost of power per second. So I think that's a really interesting one, because it seems like while you're below this threshold, let's say, I assume it's probably going to be about 20% or something around that you can constantly convert you know, your power into health. So yeah, I think that might be really, really interesting, because it just allows the character a certain low threshold to have this sustainable regeneration. I'm kind of hoping that it's about 30 to 40% health. That would be really, really sweet. But yeah, you also have an increased rate of regeneration if Blade is nearby a bleeding opponent, so it has some synergy maybe with a special 2 attack. You get that off, you get the bleed triggered, you have this surge of power gain and this increased regeneration. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of potential when it comes to his signature ability. But again, it depends, you know, how much power consumes for how much health. There's a lot when it comes to how good Blade is going to be. It's very much to do with the numerical values. But out of all these characters, just because I love, you know, the hard-hitting characters with a nice amount of utility and some interesting mechanics, Blade looks like a really, really interesting champion. But he is, you know, in comparison, if you've watched the Mephisto or Morningstar videos, he's significantly less complicated to play by the look of it. But that's kind of what I like as well. So yeah, I'm really, really excited for Blade. I think he's going to have some great matchups. I think he's going to be a fantastic counter, potentially to champions like Magic as well, which champions like Magic for sure need more counters out there. So yeah, really, really interested to see this character. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what do you think of Blade? Are you hyped for Blade? And now that we've reached kind of the end of these in-depth champion overview videos, which of the 3 characters, Mephisto, Morningstar, or Blade, are you most excited for? I have high hopes for every one of the characters. There's not a single character that I've looked at this month and gone, well, this character looks kind of lame. I feel like they all kind of have various interesting uses, potential throughout the game. Granted, we're gonna have to wait till tomorrow to see their exact abilities and numerical values, and also see their animations in game. But at the moment, I hold really, really high hopes for kind of the next month of champions. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you enjoyed all the character review and ability overview videos today. And we have, oh, my access to this file has changed, damn. But yeah, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Take care and have an absolutely fantastic day.